things that I love talking about the most is like getting motivation. And this is just something that I feel like I need to talk about because I feel like I've gained this ability and I'm seeing that a lot of people struggle with it. So yeah, let's get into it. So when you look at, sometimes when you look at people's like pictures or stories or like paychecks or whatever, you know how on YouTube you often see like how much I made on YouTube or whatever, or I'm like on Instagram you see like all these like lavish photos of beautiful places that you want to go. And you know how a lot of times people say, just looking at that kind of depresses me, it makes me feel like I can't get there, it makes me feel jealous that I'm not getting it or whatever. Well, I have found a way to make all of that extremely motivational. It fires me up and it makes me so excited, and I want to share with you how I got there. A long time ago I saw a video by Dr. K saying that the human mind can often visualize loss and pain before we experience it, but we can't visualize gains and what we could have before it happens. That is very true in that that's like our default mind, right? That's like something that, okay, without training, without like mental training, I feel like that is where we're at. We can often imagine, oh, if we lose this thing that we really care about, we lose this person, we lose where we live, we lose, like, if we can imagine a loss, we can feel the stress and the pain of it. But we can't seem to imagine like gaining something or us in a better place. Look, I'm not saying like, oh my god, us in a better place. Like I've seen that in shows where it's like, oh, she's moved on to a better place or something like that. But what I mean is, I feel like that is a thing that you need to train your mind into. It wasn't yesterday. I mean, it wasn't all the time that I open up Instagram, see a bunch of beautiful photos of people's gorgeous backyards and people's like, you know, just fully beautiful decor houses that I feel like, oh, I can never reach that. I think at one stage maybe I thought that, but nowadays when I see it, I save all the pictures on my big folder and I am so freaking excited when I see them. I am so freaking like, oh my god, my whole body just ignites with excitement, and I just don't know how, like, it's like I feel like what I have to do, or what I had to kind of teach myself, is to visualize me achieving that kind of thing as well. And it takes a lot of practice, and often, obviously, you're not going to just like visualize and do nothing, but of course I'm working hard as well to get there. But a lot of it also has to do with my own like visualization. I have to like really like see myself with like, kind of like, you cannot almost have to like practice it. It's kind of like meditation, where the more you practice, the more that part of your brain will become active. What I do is, whenever I see something that other people have that I don't, that I feel like I would love to have someday, instead of like getting mad that they have it and I don't, which is often what causes the jealousy and the anger, and just feeling like, I kind of try to visualize myself with that same kind of thing that I really want. I try to see it. I try to see, hey, I'm decorating the house just like that one day. One day I'm gonna get there. I don't know how long. It could be 10, 20, 50 years. I'm still like, not like I'm old, but not old that I'm like one step in the grave, if you know what I mean. Like, but my point is, it's so important that you can see it. You can actually see it. You have to imagine it. And sometimes when you're in a situation where you're just feeling a bit hopeless, you need to be able to imagine and visualize that kind of success or whatever that you're working towards. And I'm not saying that once you get that, you're going to be happy. You're unhappy now. Once you get that, you're going to be happy. That is not true as well, because often we'll think, oh, you know, I don't have a place that's big enough, and look at these people, they have it. Once I get that, my life is going to be perfect. That's not it too. I do believe the important thing is the progress, the working towards it, the joy of getting there, to work on it small bits each day at a time, to see what you have now and to make most of it. Because right now, I'll tell you one thing, is that I look at people's really big yards, like cottagecore gardens, and I feel like, oh wow, that's something I would dream about having one day. There are some people with the biggest, most beautiful yards, and looking at the photos just does not make me depressed, but it makes me really excited, because when I see it, I can envision, hey, one day I'm going to work hard enough so that I can get that too. I can build my own version of it. I can get to the same place. I can one day do that. I know it's going to be very hard. I know it's going to be tough. It's not going to happen right away. I know it could take years, but hey, I'm going to enjoy the journey of it, and I'm going to like just see how far I can get. I collect little things at a time, maybe to work towards my goal. And to me, that every little piece to walk towards that goal will bring me happiness, or bring me excitement at least, so that when I finally reach that, I'm going to be like, oh my god, yes. So that's just something really important. I feel like, because it's funny, because whenever I see these pictures and I get really excited, sometimes people don't understand why. They're like, oh, why? Well, like, doesn't that make you depressed? Like, no, it doesn't. Actually, it makes me so excited. And I want that kind of same energy with you, because it's going to make your life so much better if you're looking at these things and not feel depressed, like, oh, that's never going to happen. Oh, I'm just going to forever be in a hellhole where whatever. You think of this exciting thing that could happen. You envision or visualize it. And then that could get you more motivated. I just feel like it's very important to do that. Of course, the human brain is not meant to do that. So that's why it's much harder. And not everyone has the ability to do that. And you just kind of, even if you have to close your eyes and you're gonna like physically tell yourself, hey, I'm gonna like visualize right now, I'm gonna be in that situation where I'm gonna decorate what I want. And it's a lot, to me, has to do with decoration, because I am a person who loves making things look nice. I love decorating. I like putting things together. I just love when something comes together that looks really pretty and really nice. And when I see things that look so well decorated, I just really have the urge to do that myself. Hence why I love the decoration games. That can also help a lot if you're in that state where you just want to do something and you feel like, oh, I'm never gonna have something this big to decorate. Hey, try decorating in a game, because it's really fun too. It kind of almost immerses you in the world and makes you feel like you're part of it. But anyway, that's like separate. But anyway, what I really like to say is, it does take practice, and it's not something that you're going to get right away. It's definitely not going to be something that you'll be able to envision right away. So do give yourself the time. Like, you have to be aware of it first. You have to be aware of it, like, hey, this is happening. This is making me feel jealous or insecure and feel like I can never get there. Who's to say that you cannot get there? Like, who's to say that their success is going to be meaning that you won't get there? That's not true. That's just like our own fears telling us that. There is no rule. Like, you're not being given a, like, what's the word? You're not being given like a sentence in the beginning of your life saying, hey, you're never gonna get that. Who's to say that? We don't know what's gonna happen. So let's make it happen. Let's do whatever it takes to make it happen. For me, I feel really, really excited. Like, it ignites this fire in me in some ways. So yeah, I just really do hope that people can get there, because it'll make browsing social media and videos and doing everything so much more pleasant when you can see things as inspiration. And just remember that before that person had so many things you wanted, remember that they would have gone through a period of time, most likely, that they don't have all the things they wanted, and they work towards that. They just probably didn't show all that. You didn't see the journey, you didn't see how long it took to get there, but that doesn't mean like they could have just had everything from the beginning. You know, you never know things like that. So it's important to imagine. You have to put your imagination in there to see the things that you're not seeing. And that's what's very important, is that, like, you're not seeing the journey, right? How about you just kind of create the scenario? Hey, like, it took them hard work too to get there. It's like they're not just gotten there right away with, like, you know, it's just trying to imagine how, like, some people may have like a journey, or like how they got there, and that's really good to see. That's like really cool. So you know, okay, that it didn't take overnight. It's not like something that I can just hope that it happens tomorrow. Hey, it's something that I can work towards, and that's really important. So I encourage you to not just see someone's current success or current thing that they have, and see the journey they took to get there, and also plan your journey, because it's really fun that way. Sometimes when I see a really beautiful garden that looks so gorgeous that I have the things that has everything I ever wanted, what I will do is look at, what are the few things that they have in there that makes it like my absolute favorite, that makes it so perfect that I would want to have someday? And maybe I'll search those things up and maybe even get a few things. And also, I think it's important, if you don't have a lot of space and you really crave that, you can just make do with what you have. And believe me, there's actually a lot of things you can do with what you have. Like before, I used to think, oh, I can't decorate until I move into a bigger place or whatever. Now I'm just like taking advantage every single little space in the house, and I'm just decorating the way I want to. I'm making it look nice. I'm not just gonna live in trash until, like, you know, the situation gets better and I live in a better, bigger place so I can decorate. I'm gonna decorate right now. I'm gonna do what I can, and then let's see the journey of getting better. So that's really exciting to me. I just hope that you can find the excitement in that. And like, if you ever see people say, oh, I make so much money, and then you crave it too, just put in more work on what you're doing. Of course, I feel like it's important to also do things that you're really passionate about. For me, I have worked very, very hard on my videos for the past year. I'm not expecting anything out of it because I'm doing this because I really love it. I've made changes in my life which makes me like realize that, hey, I gotta work on this and love this in 20 years, because that's how I not give up. And guess what happens? Every single time I reach some kind of semi-success, like anywhere, I've given up and started something new because I have this severe ADHD brain that just does not let me continue one thing for too long. And this time I'm very aware and I need to make sure it works for me. And that's really important, because you'll find that if you start something, you quit, you start something, you quit, you never get the momentum. It's going to be harder to get success that way. I've had to experience that many times. I've had food blogs that I started, I was getting momentum, I was doing well, I was like even getting onto some magazines at the time. I was like doing so much and I was getting all this like visits and clicks and AdSense money. And guess what? After like 2 years of intense work, which if I had done it for 10 years, I could have been like a famous chef, I don't know, something like that. You know, it's like, but I gave up on it. I gave up on it when I was so close. So just know that, like, if you're working really hard on something and that you're not seeing a lot of success or progress at the moment, just keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop, because you never know. You never know. It's so important. I really have learned my lesson now. It's like, for me, I need to figure out how I can just never give up, never stop doing something that I really enjoy, never I need the self-discipline to be able to continue doing. And that's how you're going to ultimately build more and be able to make more money or something. So just to not stop, because for me, I have always been creative. I love doing things, and I've been able to make some money from websites, from previous channels, from whatever it was, but I've always just given up when I was at the section where it's like, you know how they say there's the dip, right? There's like this like hard grind, and then there's like a dip, and then there's also a hard grind. I'm always somewhere in that section, and I'm like getting better, but I'm just bored or I'm just tired or whatever it was. I just give up, and then all the momentum goes away. So that's also very important. If you are someone who really wants to like be able to make more money or something, it's important to not give up as well. So that's with just trying to imagine. I would suggest like watch those and train yourself. Like when you're feeling really jealous and like insecure and stuff, use that opportunity to stop yourself and just say like, hey, I'm going to imagine myself in this other situation where I'm not jealous, and I'm just thinking, hey, I'm going to get that. I'm going to get there too. I'm going to get there. And even if you've been working very hard for 10 years or whatever, and you haven't seen any success or something, that doesn't mean it can't happen. That doesn't mean it cannot happen. Like, I'm not like, for me, I'm not like thinking, oh, I have to get this all figured out in the next year or two. It's more like the next 10, 20 years, okay? I have learned to not have expectations for the foreseeable future. I'm fine with that. I'm fine. I'm just going to do what I can. That's the most important thing you can do, is just to do the best you can today. Don't waste time. Like, I feel like it's important to have these inspiration, but you can't just live your life through others as well. Like sometimes you might think just, oh, maybe it's hopeless for me, so I'll just spend all my time just watching other people. And unfortunately that will not get me, at least. Like, I don't think that will get me anywhere, or anyone anywhere, if you're just consuming things. Like, I feel like it's a very, very important thing to have a balance of things that you're consuming that motivates you, things that you're consuming just for fun and relaxation, and also creating things yourself or doing whatever you want to make sure you will get to a really good spot in the future. And that's very important, because I can't stress that enough, that like, so often we'll go through social media, we'll look at people's good pictures, we'll see all these travel videos. Like, there are so many beautiful travel videos on Instagram that it's like, oh my god. And I'm looking at it, sometimes I'll be like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna see that, or I will never see that. But I have to stop myself. It's like, no, that's not the way to think. I'm gonna think that, hey, one day I'm gonna see that. I'm gonna see that one day, maybe in 10 years, maybe it's gonna be a while, but I'm gonna see that one day. I'm gonna experience that one day, and I am not gonna stop until I get there one day. So I save all these pictures and use that as a reminder, a motivation, and to tell me to not slack off and just to keep working hard. That's what I really have learned to do. So I hope you can take that as motivation or whatever it is. Just try to imagine it. You have to try to allow yourself to see it. That's the important thing. You have to see it in your mind. You have to see that you have that thing that you really wanted. You have to try that. At least try that, please. Anyway, so hope you have a really wonderful day. Take care of yourself, and I will talk to you soon.